Hello and welcome to Lean Into Green. I'm your host, Jenny Lamorgan, and I'm excited to be here with my guest today, Leslie Reichert. And I will introduce her in just a second and talk about who she is. But first, I want to share a little bit about Lean Into Green for those of you listening in for the first time. At Lean Into Green, we learn from some of the best experts in this green lifestyle field, and you will discover how going green enriches your life, your health, your wealth, and your happiness in so many important and inspiring ways. And you'll learn the many impacts that your green lifestyle makes on the planet and on peace and lasting sustainability. I'm a green entrepreneur and owner of greenwomanstore.com, and I've learned so much from these green lifestyle experts. I know you're going to be glad you listened in. So let me tell you a little bit about Leslie Reichert. She is a nationally recognized green homekeeping expert, dedicated to educating us on keeping our homes, our schools, and our work areas green and clean. Leslie helps teach simple steps by keeping families and pets safe from hidden toxins and health risks. Her mission is to teach and encourage us in the art of green homekeeping. Leslie is the founder and president of the Green Clean University, offering programs and products for green lifestyle management. Leslie is a consultant and TV personality, appearing on Martha Stewart Living Radio and ABC News. She's also the author of the book, The Joy of Green Cleaning. Welcome, Leslie Reichert, and thank you very much for joining us here at Lean Into Green.
Oh, absolutely. I'm excited to be with you.
I'm so glad that you are focusing in on the green cleaning issue, because so many of the other guests have talked about it in the context of going green, and in the context certainly of the health benefits. But I'm excited for this talk on just focusing on cleaning green, because it's such a, it's a new issue for some of us, and for some of us, we just need to know how to step in a little deeper. So,
and it's so funny that you say that, because a lot of experts are into green living and green eating and, all the other things that go around with green living. But I always tell people when I'm going into a talk or anything like that, I'm the only green cleaning expert. And it's only because nobody really wants to clean, right? It's not something that people sign up and go, oh, I love cleaning, let me help you, that type of thing. So I'm the only one that is interested in cleaning, so that's my forte in life.
All right, so you're getting into the nooks and crannies of it. That's
your, no pun
that's
intended.
Your niche.
That's good.
Yeah, that's your niche.
Yeah.
All right. Well, please tell us how you started living green yourself and kind of focused in on the green cleaning area.
Oh, sure. I ended up, I never was kind of a, born from birth on type of a green living person. I'm middle-aged. I just crossed over the 50-yard line, as I say. And I started when I had left corporate world and was trying to figure out a job that I could do where I, as an entrepreneur, wanted to do something. And the only thing I really was good at was cleaning. So I started a house cleaning business and grew it to be very, very large. It was the largest housekeeping service in central Massachusetts. And we did 150 to 200 houses a week, a lot of cleaning. And what happened was, though, that over time, because I was the manager, the owner, and you know how it is to be an entrepreneur, right? You do it all.
A lot of problem solving.
A lot of problem solving, and also getting down, and when somebody wasn't able to be there, I was doing a lot of the cleaning myself. And what happened was, over the years of doing this, like 2 or 3 years, I started to feel like something was really wrong, like I wasn't feeling quite right. And then certain things started to kind of come up as flags, and I found out that I had broken down my immune system by being around all the silly chemicals. And we weren't using green back then. This was 20-plus years ago, and we were, using the typical kind of fiberglass cleaners that you would use to clean a fiberglass boat, that type of thing, and found that all these things that I was exposed to was starting to break down my immune system. And then, so I found one of the things that really was crazy was in the middle of winter, I broke out with poison ivy. And
wow.
you couldn't explain it. It came out in all sorts of places in my body. And, my doctors just said, your immune system is so broken down that even being somewhere close to it, even months later, your body just couldn't get rid of it. It was trying hard, but it couldn't do it. And so then that started my adventure on trying to figure out if there were ways that we could clean with more natural cleaners and still do a great job and not spend extra time, because in the cleaning industry, time is money. And back then there were a few opportunities, but not a lot. So I went back into history and found what started the whole process was my great-grandmother's laundry soap recipe. And put that together, and that was the beginning of that's kind of the cornerstone of my book.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I know you must have a video of making that recipe on your.
I do actually.
I knew it.
Yeah.
All right.
And the funny thing was, even back then when I found the recipe, now you'd think something that was actually being made back in the late 1800s, all the ingredients would be really easy to find, but they weren't. I mean, they're real simple little things, but for example, there's one thing in the recipe called soap flakes. And I don't know if you remember ever seeing soap flakes.
You know what we used to use soap flakes for? My mother would make a bowl of the soap flakes with a little bit of water, and she would put them on the boughs of the Christmas tree, and it would look like snow.
Exactly. Those are soap flakes.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to date you, but those are the things that you and I remember we would use them for, because they were very inexpensive and they were fun to work with. And then in the late 70s, they stopped making them. And they were made by, I think it was Ivory Soap actually made soap flakes. But because everyone was switching over to laundry detergents at that time, there was absolutely no demand left for soap flakes, and they stopped making them. But that's one of the main ingredients in an old-fashioned laundry soap recipe. And I had to go all the way to London to find them. They still make them in Europe. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
Yeah. So I have them
they're still making their own.
You can make your own, too, but in London and Europe, they use soap flakes a lot because Europe is much greener than us in a lot of different ways.
That's right.
And they still do their laundry with soap flakes.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so you imported the soap flakes.
I did. And then the laundry soap recipe has 4 simple ingredients. So it's soap flakes, baking soda, washing soda, and borax. And even the borax now is starting to get more difficult to purchase. And it's been a laundry additive for generations, and it works really well. And, you can put that in your laundry instead of a bleach, and it'll brighten, whiten things, all that type of stuff. And unfortunately, you can't find these little simple things anymore. And so it's becoming more difficult to even try and make your own.
We've used that same recipe, except we substituted the Fell's Napa soap, grating it, into flakes, actually, and instead of the Ivory soap flakes. But, those same old good standby, ingredients that aren't toxic for us, easier on the clothes, I'm certain. And,
and actually it's kind of
fun
when you use it, because your clothes, you don't end up needing a fabric softener because your clothes are softer because of the vegetable oil. It's really fun, and it's just simple stuff, and you get away from all the different fragrances and all those other things that really can affect your family.
And certainly the fabric softeners are full of fragrances and
the
toxins that linger all week long while the family's wearing the clothes.
And it's funny because we relate the smells to clean. Even my family, I have 3 kids. They love going over to somebody else's house, and they'll smell whatever laundry soap that family's using. They'll come home, they're like, can we please use that? I'm like, no. flowers in the garden and roses in the, those are not the smell of clean. Clean doesn't have a smell. They want to smell the smells, too. So I fight the battle in my own household all the time.
Okay. Well, it's certainly a multi-generational journey going green, and we come at it from so many different angles to come into it. So start with some easy green cleaning tips for those of us that are just beginning to go green.
Well, one of the things I recommend to kind of get your head in the right place is to kind of go underneath your kitchen sink and pick one cleaner. Something that, whatever it is, whether it's a scrub for your sink or your countertop cleaner, just pick that one item. And then I ask everybody to just do a tiny little bit of research and take that product and go online and just try and Google the ingredients. So usually if you look on the back of the bottle, it doesn't really tell you what's in there. And that's something that happens in the cleaning industry all the time, is they do not have to tell you the ingredients in your cleaning products. And there's some pretty nasty toxins in there. But if you go online and Google the ingredients, you may be able to get a couple of the ingredients to pop up. For example, like formaldehydes, might pop up. Even the word fragrance can have 4,000 different chemicals inside that word.
That's right. Yeah.
And I'm not trying to scare anybody or anything, but just if you do that, you might then understand, like, ooh, I didn't know I was putting that on my kitchen sink, or ooh, I didn't really want to be using a formaldehyde type product on my kitchen counter where I make my lunches for my kids. And so by starting with that one product, and then what I recommend next is let's try and find a substitute for just that one item. So, for example, we've got this really high efficiency disinfecting product that you're going to use on your countertops. Let's try and substitute an all-natural recipe for that instead. And if you're not into making your own, there's lots of really great products out there that are being manufactured that are really green now. I couldn't find them 20 years ago, but the technology has caught up with us. And it's just kind of a step-down process. You get used to using something a little greener, you find out it works, and then you can go to your next product.
That's great, and I think a lot of times it depends on where we're shopping. If it's a lot of the stores, if it's not on TV, it's not on the grocery store shelves. So sometimes we have to, and I know you sell products on your website, so sometimes we have to search a little farther, online, or maybe trying healthier food stores to find some of the green products, but they are available now.
Yeah, and you're so right. Like the fun thing is there's a lot of really teeny tiny companies that are entrepreneurial that are trying to make these really healthy products, but they can't compete with the big guns. So you have to really look a little deeper to find them, and they're just phenomenal. I mean, I have probably 30 or 50 vendors on my website of different products that most of the time people have never heard of before. And they are fabulous. They all work great.
And I think some of the greener cleaning products are multi-use, so you don't have to have so many things under your sink.
Right. You're
and
so right.
You save money that way, too.
Well, yeah, that's the bonus. A lot of times people think when you go to a green product, whether it's a food product or a cleaning product or whatever, that you have to pay more. But in reality, this is a great way to save money, too.
Right, because there's multi-use. You're not buying something different for every nook and cranny.
Yeah, and that again we've been brainwashed into thinking we need lots of different products to do that, and you don't. It's all marketing.
That's right, and that's where the advertising dollars come in for the larger companies, and that's why we know about them. But It does just take a little bit of effort to, sometimes a lot of effort to figure out what the alternatives are, but consumer demand drives what the stores carry, too. So asking the managers for certain products that we've found online, and we let them know that we'd like to buy them locally. So that
Right,
makes it available
exactly.
for more consumers, too.
You're so right, yeah. And it's funny, too, you know, a little bit of work up front can actually make it a lot easier down the road, you know. So it doesn't take a lot of effort to switch over your cleaning products to green ones. It may take a little bit of research and maybe, an hour on the Internet to research things. But once you get it switched, you're going to save money, save time, and then you'll be healthier in the long run.
And can you talk about the healthier part? Because, you know, we've all been raised in this culture of having to kill all the germs, and, of course, the toxins that kill the germs are more detrimental to our health than the germs themselves, oftentimes. So,
yeah, you and I, we feel like we're talking to the choir, right, because we get it. But
educate us on that.
Well, and I'm living that. I'm living this result. As I told you, I'm actually the primary caregiver for my mother. My mother was born in the 1930s. She grew up in the 1950s when there was this huge marketing blitz on for all the different cleaning products. It was kind of like everything was new, and every housewife in the world definitely wanted to make cleaning faster and easier and better, which don't we all? Mm-hmm. You know, but back then the marketing was switch to this, use this, and she did it. She was the best consumer they could ever have wanted, and she has done that. She loves candles. She loves the fragrances in her laundry soap. She is just filled. I mean, we took a picture of her laundry shelf from her old home about a few weeks ago, and we called it June's Shelf of Shame. You know, but it was probably 5 feet long and 2 feet deep of just product after product after product. Mm-hmm. And I told her, I said, you know, if we would have poured all of those different things in one vat, we would have blown up the world. You know, and
wow. And little by little, we don't realize it, but little by little, we are getting that toxic effect.
Exactly. And so the result of years and years and years of her doing this is she has what is now being called COPD, which is actually emphysema. You know, she's on 100% oxygen. Her body and her lungs are just breaking down. And so now I can physically show people, like, you know, after 50 or 60 years of using really intense chemicals, this is some of the results you're going to see. You know,
right. I remember cleaning.
Oh, go ahead.
I remember cleaning the shower with the Clorox bleach, and my lungs hurting for a couple of days afterwards.
And we don't listen to our body. That's our body telling us, "Ow, it hurts me," and we think that's supposed to be normal.
Well, we think it's necessary.
Right.
You know,
and
I certainly thought it was necessary. Yeah.
Of course. And so, you know, my mom, who's, I mean, even after all I do, for how many years I've been doing it, trying to tell everybody, you know, and I'm even using, it's her grandmother's recipe that is the cornerstone of my book. And after all of that, you know, even years of that, she never would convert. And so now, you know, she's in almost an assisted living project, and we've got to change the way she lives. It's mandated by her doctor. No toxic chemicals, no candles, no fragrances.
Right.
And, you know, now she looks at me and goes, oh.
Well, but you know what? But her health can turn around now, too, where maybe she'll have some improvement in her health.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But, you know, unfortunately, I don't want to see anybody else have to get to this point. And then when we look at our children, and you have these allergies and asthma conditions that even when I was a little kid, we never dealt with that many people being allergic to things. And you
I think it's like what happened with you. You know, the level of toxins rises in your body and breaks down your immune system little by little. And so the younger people nowadays are exposed to much more than we were, certainly at a younger age.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. So, you know, I just was asked to do, I think it was on Livestrong.com, they were asking me to be an expert in the cleaning industry, and the girl said, can you name 10 cleaning chemicals that you shouldn't use around your children? And my answer was none of them. you know, if you're going to clean around your children, you should clean with stuff you could probably eat. And that sounds really weird, but you can clean your house with vinegar and baking soda and salt and lemon juice. You know, you can use mouthwash to clean out your toilet instead of a nasty acid that goes into the water system.
Right.
You know, you can remove stains off your countertop with toothpaste. You know, all those things.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but we don't think like that. You know, we go right to that bottle that has the bleach in it because that bleach takes color out, so we're going to use that.
Give us that list of 4 ingredients again: the vinegar, the lemon juice.
It's I call it the basic 4, which is distilled white vinegar, baking soda, salt, and lemon juice.
Okay.
So those are the basic 4. And it's really easy because people go, I don't want to make anything. This is too difficult. You know, you're making my roots and my hair hurt, you know. But it's, you know, but once you figure out what each one of those things does, it's really easy to clean stuff. For example, like white vinegar is a natural acid. So you can use that. Also, it's a natural disinfectant. So just plain white vinegar sprayed on your countertops will kill 98% of the bacteria. That's not bad.
No.
You know? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and in my research, I have heard about pickling vinegar, and that it's stronger. If you feel like you need something stronger, the pickling vinegar is a little stronger ingredient to use.
Well, you want to hear something really funny? Is the Heinz company just came out with a cleaning vinegar.
Oh, my goodness. See,
yeah,
consumer pressure.
Exactly. I have been asking them for years because I said, you know, when you cook with vinegar, you don't use, you know, cups and or gallons of it. You use a teaspoon, a tablespoon. I'm like, you guys are missing the market. You need to develop a cleaning vinegar, and lo and behold, they did it. And you know, because you clean by the quart or the pint or whatever with the vinegar. So, and the neat thing is, regular white vinegar is 3% acid. The cleaning vinegar is 6% acid. So it's almost twice strong. And it's right next to the regular vinegar. It's so cute.
And we probably don't even notice it. Yeah.
No, you know, it's been out for, I would say, 3 or 4 months, and people still are like, oh, really? I've never seen that. It's right there.
Oh, the cleaning vinegar. But it's not in the cleaning aisle yet.
Nope, they still have it in the food products, so.
Okay. It'll move. It'll move as the sales go.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right.
So, you know, vinegar is a great staple. Then you have baking soda, which I tell people that's your natural lifter. If you need to lift something off or something's baked in or even inside your, you know, if you have a linoleum floor and you just want to lift the dirt off of it, use baking soda. Because that's what it does when you put it in a cake. It lifts up the cake. So you add a little heat to the baking soda, and it's going to lift up the dirt so that you can wipe it away. And it's just basic chemistry. It's not big. And then salt's a natural scrub. So if you have something that's not coming off, you just use a little table salt, and it'll scrub it right off. And lemon juice is a great bleach. I mean, I had blonde hair in high school, and I still have blonde hair, and it's not natural. But I can attest to putting, you put a little lemon juice in your hair, and you go out in the sunlight, and poof, it's white, right?
Very nice, yeah.
So
and not so much damage, maybe.
Exactly. And you don't have to use any chlorine or anything that's going to have any fumes that can break down, the membranes in your nose or any of that kind of stuff.
Right. And with the fragrances too, it's the neurotransmitters that are affected for sure. And there's so many chemicals in the fragrances, so it's
instead
for children.
You can just substitute a little. If you have to have a smell, which when I go and do talks, I always make up. I'll give you the recipe. It's called a green cleaning scrub. So it'll take the place of like a Comet or an Ajax, some kind of a scrub, dry scrub like that. And it's 3 simple ingredients. You can use either borax, or if you can't find borax, you can use a dry oxygen bleach. And then you use table salt and baking soda, those three things. And the mixture is 1 to 1 to 1. So when I mix it up, I take a cup of baking soda, a cup of table salt, and a cup of borax, put them all in a great big bowl, and then I'll just put in a little bit of lemongrass oil, like 6 or 7 drops. And it's amazing because when people smell that smell, there's something in their brain that registers it as a cleaner.
Nice,
You know?
nice.
Yeah, but I have to trick them into trying it, because if I gave them that white powder without a smell to it, you know, they'd walk out of one of my talks and go, yeah, that was interesting, and throw it away.
But then you pass around with the lemongrass. And lemongrass is not an expensive essential oil.
I can buy like 2 or 3 ounces of it for around $6.
Right, and it lasts a long time.
Oh, forever. That would be years of making cleaning products. And that's
right, and
the
you
trick.
can buy these oils now in some of the healthier food stores. They actually carry the essential oils.
Yeah, I don't know where you are, but like the Whole Foods grocery stores, in their whole body section, they have lots of different choices of regular, organic, essential oils. And again, they're $6, $8 a bottle. I mean, that one initial purchase might be a little difficult to make, but you're talking years.
And I've seen eucalyptus oil at the Rite Aids and the CVS pharmacies and things like that for like $3, $4.
Right. And the other one is tea tree oil. It's one of my favorites because it's a great disinfectant. And you can get it at CVS in the foot care section. And
even Trader Joe's carries tea tree.
There you go. See, and that's a fabulous oil to add to anything you're doing. Just a couple drops, and now it becomes a disinfectant.
Very nice. Very good. All right. So let's move on to our gardens. Can you give us some tips and tricks for use in our gardens and our backyards?
Well, when I'm talking to people about trying to be green in your garden, a lot of times what I suggest is, getting back to what we were talking about, essential oils. You can plant the herbs back there, and all those different herbs will do certain things like repel different bugs, so you don't end up using pesticides back there. Catnips and things like that are great for, you might have your cats rolling around in it, but, they also do a lot to repel insects and all those types of things. And really just kind of, instead of using, like, I had a friend the other day, and he was going to be cleaning his fence. He had a fence out in his back garden, and he was going to just put the Clorox bleach in the water and try and get the mold off of it. And I said, oh, wait, just instead, let's try a couple other things instead. And we ended up using oxygen bleach instead. And oxygen bleach is basically, the best way I can describe it is like dehydrated hydrogen peroxide in a powder form. And you put it in water, and it activates it, and it's fabulous for getting out that green mold and all that other stuff, and it won't hurt your plants. So, you want to make sure you're not using things that, it sounds easy enough, just pour some bleach in some water and go out and scrub something, but all that chlorine's going into the water, and we fight the fight all the time when, again, it's just marketing because it's, you see somebody doing it on TV and say, oh, that looks easy enough, I'll go out and do it.
Right. And, I've made a liquid spray with the oxy water, and on the door of the refrigerator where the ice comes out and the water comes out, and how that always kind of seems to gather bacteria and discolors.
Yep.
The mix that I make with just, a tablespoon in a spray bottle of water, it's gone in a matter of minutes.
Oxygen bleach is fabulous.
I love it.
That in your
I'm a
laundry.
convert.
Yeah.
I
have to try it once, right, though?
Yes. And that's a good way to see how effective it really is. So.
Yep. And the other thing, too, is I tell people if you don't know where or how to buy the oxygen bleach, the OxyClean or whatever it is, you can just use regular hydrogen peroxide. And I use that in my wash as my bleach alternative. And it's really fun to do it if you put all your white towels in there, and then you put your hydrogen peroxide in, and when they come out, they're almost like glowing white. It's really crazy.
And how much hydrogen peroxide do you use per load?
The same as you would for bleach, like a quarter of a cup.
Okay.
Yep. And it's really inexpensive. I mean, a big old bottle. I mean, CVS was selling it the other day in 6-packs again because people are starting to go back to that instead of using the more toxic chemicals. And
Very nice.
Yeah.
I'd like to see these changes on the shelves at the stores because that's consumer power.
Yes, people are they are telling their stores what they want, and the stores, of course, listen because they're, they want to have people buy from them no matter what. So they are listening. Just like when you have a food product that you really want, and if you keep harping on it, you will see it in your store.
And we don't have, and we don't have to make an extra trip because these cleaners are right in our grocery aisles: the lemon juice, the baking soda, the vinegar, salt,
right.
Even hydrogen peroxide. I mean, they usually sell it in the same stores, borax. So it's adding to our grocery bill a lot less than if we were buying the more expensive cleaners, because when we do make our own, those ingredients seem to last for months. So we're making one purchase, but we've got product for a few months.
Exactly, and that little mixture that I make up when I do a talk, so I'll that 1 cup, 1 cup, 1 cup. So that's making 3 cups of a scrub. And what I end up doing is mix up, and then I pour it in a Parmesan cheese container, and I have one in each one of my bathrooms. I think I do that maybe once a quarter, once every 6 months, and I think that entire mixture cost me about $2. So that's, not bad money. 66 cents per bathroom every 3 to 6 months.
Yes. I think it's and plus, I really feel like it adds to our happiness level. It helps our health. Certainly, it helps our budget, but it makes us happier. It's living sustainably, living green. I believe lifts our spirits.
It definitely does. I totally agree. Yeah.
All right. So, what about cleanup after parties? And we have Halloween parties coming up. So, can you give us some ideas about cleaning green for party cleanup?
Well, one of the things we're probably all going to be dealing with this Halloween is chocolate, right? Whether it's going to be in our clothing or it's going to be on the carpet. I don't know if you have little kids, but, they run in the house, they pour their pillow full of stuff on the carpet, and 9 times out of 10, something chocolate gets stuck in the carpeting. A quick, easy way to deal with that is to start off with an ice cube. So if you've got, whether it's a chocolate stain in your clothing or chocolate on the carpet, you take an ice cube and go over it, and so you want to freeze the chocolate. And then what you're going to do is once it's nice and hard, then you take a knife or something sharp and just kind of scrape off as much of that build-up chocolate as you can. And then what you want to remember is that chocolate has a lot of like an oil base to it. So once you've got most of the chocolate off, you want to just work on it as if it's an oil-based stain. And the best thing that I can recommend is a little bit of alcohol, like rubbing alcohol. And the rubbing alcohol will break down the oil or the wax behind the chocolate. And then after that, you can just add a little bit of baking soda and some regular old dish soap and give it a scrub. And the baking soda is going to lift it up, and the soap's going to wash it away. So that's a little tip of the day.
Okay.
And that's the cool thing about stains too. Like, everybody loves a product that you can spray on every stain and it makes it come out, but it doesn't always work. And I find that there are different kind of stains, and once you figure out what kind of a stain it is, you can fight it with the right stuff, and it won't make it set. So, for example, there's a couple basics that you need for stain removing, which is rubbing alcohol, and then you also need hydrogen peroxide, and then a basic old-fashioned kind of a soap, whether it's a bar soap or a dish soap. And if it's like a tomato-based stain or a red kind of a stain like blood, you want to start off with a hydrogen peroxide, and that'll actually lift off the redness of that stain. And this is not me making this up. I mean, nurses have known this for years. If you have blood on your uniform, you just spray it with hydrogen peroxide, and it literally disappears.
Wow.
It's amazing. Yeah, and then, you have the stains that are based with grease or oil. So if you drip some salad dressing or something like that, you just squirt it with some rubbing alcohol first and rub it in, and the alcohol will break down the oil, and then you just go back over the stain a little later with that bar soap. And again, you think about the fact that the soap's a lifter. It's going to lift it up, and then you can just rinse it out, and it'll go away. So you don't need that funky, squirty stuff that smells funny and has a lot of toxins in it. You just have to have a couple basics. So that'll help with your cleanups during the holiday party season because, you've got your red wine, which always kind of gets spilled on the white linen.
Somehow.
Just remember, okay, it's red, so let's try the hydrogen peroxide first. And so hydrogen peroxide, maybe a little club soda, and the bubbles are what lifts it up off of the linen, and a little bar soap, and it should be gone.
Very nice. We don't have to look at those stains forever because we've removed them completely. There's an old wives' tale people have told me where if you spill a glass of wine, red wine, you're supposed to pour white wine on top of it. And some people swear that it works, but I can truly attest that I've had better luck with hydrogen peroxide. And I don't waste a glass of white wine. So. I was just going to say it's a little cheaper, yeah.
Yeah. Who wants to waste a good glass of red wine or white wine?
Not as tasty, but...
Yeah.
Right.
So what else can I help you with?
Well, an issue that I have is with vacuum cleaners. They are not my friends.
Oh.
I just seem to have, repeating problems with vacuum cleaners. So talk to us about vacuums and all that encompasses. There's different bags and bagless and
it's a huge subject, and one thing that I always tell people is there's no one vacuum for everybody because we all have different homes and we all have different needs. And even personal preferences, like, you see the advertisements and people go, oh, this is the right vacuum for you, and you think, oh, it's an upright vacuum. I think that looks cool. But you might be a canister person by personality. The idea of pushing something in front of you versus pulling something around may be really uncomfortable for you. So I always tell people there's no one vacuum cleaner, but we start with the basics, which are, and let's do you. So I'll interview you, and I'll try and tell you where I would lead you with a vacuum cleaner. So do you have a personal preference as to upright or canister in your world?
I think the uprights are not as flexible for corners and that kind of thing, but I don't mind pushing them around. But I seem to run over the cords. and I have trouble with the belts burning up, that kind of thing.
Okay. So my next question is, tell me a little bit more about your house. Do you have lots of hardwood floors, wall-to-wall carpetings?
Kind of half carpet, half flooring.
Okay. And is the carpet that you have really thick and plush, or is it low pile?
No, it's pretty soft, yeah.
Okay. And do you have stairs in your house?
Yes.
Okay. And how about pets?
Yes.
Are they big and hairy? You would let the dog here?
Yes. Yes.
It's okay. Welcome to my world. I have 2 golden retrievers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So here's what happens with that is that I think the very best way to vacuum hardwood floors is with a canister vacuum because it really gets right down onto the hard floor with the brushes that they provide, and they do a great job at, on cleaning a hardwood floor. Now, if you don't like a canister, there are some uprights that work pretty well on the hardwood, but nothing competes with a hardwood floor brush on a canister. The other thing that happens with a canister vacuum is they tend to be, like you said, a little more versatile. You know, you can clean your hardwood, then go straight to carpeting and kind of go back and forth, and you can clean lots of different kind of floorings with the canister. The big push, it's actually been since the late 80s, was the bagless vacuum cleaner. Now, the trick with the bagless is that whether it's an upright or a canister, if you have allergies, dust allergies, it's probably not the best choice, because you have to, whether you have allergies and it has HEPA filters, whatever they put on it, sooner or later you have to empty that container, right? Mm-hmm. And if you have dust allergies, you're always going to get that poof of dust in the face. So even though they say, you know, we've got it rated HEPA and all this other stuff, my gut reaction is if you're dealing with dust allergies, try to avoid the bagless vacuums. The other thing that happens with a bagless vacuum is that even though you're not buying bags for it, you're supposed to be replacing the filters on there every 6 months or to a year, which nobody really knows.
Right.
Yeah, so, you know, what you're saving in bags, you're going to be spending 3 times over in a filter system. So if it's about money, go with a bag.
Interesting.
And so, you know, like, and the other thing I try and tell people is, or, you know, like for you, what kind of vacuum do you have? Don't tell me the make, but the style of vacuum cleaner that you're using now.
I have an upright. Okay. And we usually use it only on the carpets, and we usually do the floors more with a wet mop.
Okay. Would you like to vacuum your hardwood floors if something worked for you?
No, I like sweeping, actually.
Okay. And see, this
you
is personal preference, yeah?
Yeah, you get the dog hair all up in one pile, and, you know.
Oh, you get that satisfaction, right?
Yes, exactly. You could see. I like sweeping. You know, I think sweeping is so ancient, and it's just, it's something we need to bring back in favor.
Yeah. And there's some very cool brooms that are out there right now that make it easy and make it work well. Yeah. So, you know, for you, maybe an upright is the right one if you don't mind about the hardwood floors. And trying to find one that has a pretty good filtration system on it. Again, if you have allergies, if anybody in your family deals with allergies, I'd probably say stay away from the bagless, even though it seems convenient.
Well, that's a good reminder about the filters.
Yes, and if you're going to go with the bagless, you do need to, because I have people that come in to my store. I have a actual brick-and-mortar store, and they'll come in with a bagless vacuum that's never had its filters changed. And it's probably spewing out as much dust as they're picking up. Yeah, so you want to
make
sure.
Well, that's huge. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so I have a question about these dryer balls that we see. I don't know what they are. Are they green? What are they?
Well, there's a lot of different styles. The ones that I always recommend they're called woolsey balls, and they're very fun because they're unbleached wool. So the wool itself on the ones that I sell comes from New Zealand. It's no bleach in it, where unfortunately in the United States, most of the wool that is sold in the United States is bleached. So I try and stay away from the chemicals. And then it's boiled wool. So really what they do is just take boiled wool, roll it into balls, and you put between 3 and 6 of them into your dryer. And they do a few different things, which is they soften your clothes just because of the pounding back and forth. They tend to take the static out, and they lower your drying time. So they're great on a lot of different levels. The ones that you've seen, like as seen on TV ones, the blue ones with the kind of like the pokey things, I usually don't recommend those because those are made out of a plastic. And when you're putting them in your dryer and heating up your dryer, you're actually going to have off-gassing from the plastic. So I don't recommend using those. I also don't recommend using tennis balls for the same reason. So people say, oh, I'm not going to buy those fancy wool ones. I'm just going to put tennis balls in. Well, remember that they're made out of a plastic, a rubber, that you're putting into a dryer that's heating up, and you're going to get off-gassing. So you don't want to do that. So,
and your clothes are going to smell like old tennis balls.
Yeah, who wants that anyway, right?
Well, I'm glad to hear about another use for wool. I really love wool, and it's so versatile and certainly economical, and I'm actually asked for a
cozy
wool
product.
pillow. Pardon me?
Yeah. It's a cozy product, right? When you think of a nice wool product, you know it's going to last a long time, and it's just all around good for you.
Cool in the summer and warm in the winter.
Exactly.
I just asked for a wool pillow for my birthday.
Okay, well, if you get it, right?
I know. I'm just looking forward to that. All right. We've talked about some of the health benefits of cleaning greener. Is there anything special in regards to breast cancer, just because I know a lot of the toxins mimic estrogen, and and then our body takes the toxins to all the places we would take estrogen.
Exactly.
So
and I work a lot, I do a lot with the breast cancer awareness. Usually, this month is always a good month for us because people have their eyes and ears on. And what happens, too, is that I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but there was a study done by the Silent Spring Institute up here in Boston. And they did a telephone survey where they actually called women and found out that the stay-at-home moms who did their own cleaning had a huge increase percentage-wise to breast cancer versus the working mom who hired a cleaning service to come in and do their cleaning.
It was probably comparable to the women working in the cleaning industry.
Exactly, and that's the other key is that especially in the Brazilian population in Boston, they actually have an activist group trying to get people to understand that, if you are doing a lot of cleaning and you're not really taking care of what you're using, the breast cancer opportunities are just skyrocketed. So there's definitely, it hasn't been locked down, drag out, confirmed that there's a connection there, but you can definitely see the links to it. And, it's one of those things where if you've known a friend, and that I work with an activist group down in Rhode Island that they take care of survivors, usually if you've been through cancer awareness, and they bring them in. And I had a 2-time survivor who actually is the secretary of the organization come to one of my talks and had never once been told about the connections between cleaning chemicals and breast cancer. In all of her travels and all of her therapies and all that, no one had ever suggested to her try and take the chemicals out of your cleaning. And she sat with me one day at Whole Foods, and she was just crying because she goes, I just came over here to buy Comet. I can't believe there are 7 carcinogens in Comet. And she's like, I've taken all the other chemicals out of my life. No one ever mentioned this. So
I don't think the environmental causes for cancer are talked about at all.
No.
Certainly that's
Some
not
doctors are starting to connect that. I experienced a lot of different people with the cancer situations, and they are starting to put the link in there that your cancer can be environmental. So in the diagnosis, starting to say, that maybe your environment may have something to do with your cancer. But again, they're not giving people the advice on what to do about it. So it's a shame.
Well, that's a step forward.
Yes, definitely.
Wow. All right. Removing candle wax from our tablecloths.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to do it the same way we did chocolate, because it's kind of the same type of a deal where you want to put an ice cube on it and freeze it up a little bit. Or you can actually put the whole tablecloth or whatever has the candle wax in the freezer and let it just harden up inside there. And as it's still really frozen, you just peel off as much of the candle wax as you can. And then remember that it's kind of an oil-based type of a stain, so we're going to use our rubbing alcohol. And I probably would just stick with the alcohol with wax for a while and try and rub it in and even brush it in as much as I can before I try and wash it out. And do that little bits at a time. And it'll come out. It really will.
All right.
Okay,
cleaning our cars. How can we
we're
do
going to
that
go out in the car. Oh, my car is
in a greener way?
Huh? My car is a pit. My husband always gets so frustrated when he has to drive my car because it's always so dirty. But I
we're
drive
so
kids
busy.
around. Yeah. But, I'll tell you, there's one product that I'm going to recommend for people who are going to clean their cars, and it will save them tons of money, and it's also going to save them lots of chemicals, and it's what I call the blue cloth. And the blue cloth is a blue microfiber cloth that you can use to clean your windows or anything else that's really nice or shiny in your car. And it's going to basically just take water. If I say a blue cloth, do you know kind of what I'm talking about at all? Does that make sense?
I know what the microfiber cloths are.
That's it. It's a very fine woven microfiber cloth, and mostly they're blue, and they almost look like blue silk, if you've ever seen one. Maybe sometimes when you go to the eye doctor, he'll give you a little tiny one for your eyeglasses. They make a great big one that's really good for cleaning glass and windows in your car and leather and everything else. So that one product, which costs about $8, you wet it, you wring it out, you go over your windshield. You know that fight you always have with the inside of your windshield that never looks quite right?
Right.
That cloth will stop the fight.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really simple and easy to use. And like I said, because we never think about the fact that when you're cleaning with chemicals, even inside of a car, there's absolutely no airflow in your car.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're spraying all those chemicals, they don't go anywhere. So they sit in your car, and then they heat up in the heat, and you just don't know really what's going on in there when it's into your body. So just use water and go over everything with that blue cloth, and it'll look like perfect.
I love that. I love that because we do struggle with the windows on the inside worse than the outside.
I can guarantee it. I just had somebody the other day. They came into my store and they said, "What do you think? I don't trust it. I've tried so many gimmicks." And I said, I've sold thousands of these cloths. They last for 300 washings, which I don't wash it every time I use it. So my joke is it's probably going to last about 10 years, right? And I said, if it doesn't work for you, bring it back. I guarantee it works, and I've never had a cloth returned, so it is a godsend.
And it saves a lot of paper towels, too.
Exactly. So no chemicals, no paper towels. You don't have to fight with the smears and the lint, and it's guaranteed not to make any smears or lint on your windows, so you don't have to worry about that.
And we can just wash the outside of the car with it as well.
Yeah, it's kind of like a newfangled chamois, but it works really well. I've had guys come up with their Harley Davidsons, and we wash them, and the chrome just sparkles, and everybody's happy with one.
All right. Well, you do a really great job of creating videos with quick and easy lessons on your website. I love these. When I first pull up your website, you start with tips and tools, and I think that the short videos are really good for all of us. We're all so busy, and we don't have a lot of time. So
no, nobody has time. So we did a bunch of them that were 30 seconds or less. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, I think there's 30-second videos that you can see there. So what happens is you get stuck there for 20 minutes because you keep wanting to wait to see what the next one is.
But you can look how much you've learned in 20 minutes. So that's good.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, so some of these tips are kind of beginning level, medium level. Is there anything else for those of us that might have tried all of these things and incorporated them into our life, and now we want to step in a little deeper? Is there anything that we haven't already implemented here?
Well, one of the tips that I recommend to people who've started to make some changes and maybe have introduced some microfiber into their lives, one of the things that I've learned, and it's from being around people in hospitals, is a style of cleaning floors called bucketless mopping. And you may have seen that in one of the videos. But what it does is instead of it's green on so many different levels because you're going to use a tool called a microfiber mop, which is basically that same microfiber cloth that we're using to clean the windows, and it's going to be Velcroed to the base of a mop. And then what you're going to do is instead of pouring a big bucket with gallons of water and a bunch of cleaning product in it, you're going to mix yourself up a very small spray bottle of cleaner diluted down to as if it were in a bucket. So, for example, if I were going to put about whatever cleaner, it doesn't matter what cleaner, but if I'm going to make up a cleaner to clean my kitchen floor, I would normally, most people would put anywhere between a half a cup and a cup of cleaner in their bucket, right, because it's going to be diluted. So instead, you just use a tablespoon of your cleaner and fill up a 16-ounce bottle of spray. And now your spray bottle is going to become your bucket. And what you do is after you've vacuumed the floor, you're just going to go and spray the cleaner. It's all diluted right on the floor, and then go over it with a microfiber cloth. So you're doing so many things. You're using a lot less chemicals. You're using a lot less water. You're using a great new technology, and you're going to be able to clean your floors to, 10 times better than any kind of string mop, funky, anything. And there's really hardly anything left on your floor but just clean. And it's really.
And then the microfiber we just toss in the laundry.
Exactly. So there's no cross-contamination. This is why hospitals use it. And the next time you go to clean, you're cleaning with a brand new, not a smelly, stinky, mildewy mop. Stuff. Yeah, it's a fabulous way to clean hardwood floors, no-wax floors, tile floors. I mean, the list goes on. And that's the new level of cleaning, is if you can master my what I call the bucketless mopping technique.
I love it. Thank you very much. You've shared
the
so much with us.
The gauntlet's down for you. I want to know how it goes.
Okay. You've shared a lot with us today. Is there anything else that you'd like to share? Our interview's almost over.
Oh, well, all I would like to do is anybody that's listening, I'd love to invite them to come to my website. They can see, like you said, the 30-second tips that roll. And then if they put their email address in on the other side, they will actually be signed up for a little more in-depth email tips that will come to you. There's 10. It's a series of 10. And it's really just how to become a little greener and cleaner in your own home for you and your family and your pets. So I just want to invite them. It's all free, and it's just lots more information. And if they've enjoyed the little bit that we've covered here, there's a lot more they can get for free there.
Healthier and happier, along with the green and the clean.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm positive of that. All right. So thank you very much, Leslie Reichert, for your great work and for sharing your tips and tricks for green cleaning with us at Lean Into Green. And we have links to Leslie's website. It's greencleaningcoach.com, where you can sign up for her newsletter and receive 10 free videos. And Leslie hasn't talked about it, but she also has a Clean Green Talk radio show. So we have a link for that as well. And you can shop on her website for green tools and products, and we have a link for that. It's backdoorvac.com. And let's see what the link for the Green Talk Radio is. Do you have a special link for that?
Yeah, if they want to go, if you go to cleangreentalk.com, during the radio show, we do it on Tuesday mornings from 9 to 10. If you go there, you can listen to it live during that time frame. If you go there after that, we usually always have the podcasts up there. You can listen to them on iTunes, or you can download them and listen to them at your convenience. So everything's there, whether you're on time or not. You haven't missed a thing. And you can listen in.
And Leslie also has a book, The Joy of Green Cleaning, and she has an e-book download for just $10 on her website. So we have a link for that as well. Thank you very much. We're all a bit wiser and healthier.
Well, thanks so much for inviting me to be with you and your listeners. I really enjoyed it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you again, Leslie Reichert at greencleaningcoach.com. All right.
Thanks again. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Leslie, very much. And thank you, all of you, for joining us at Lean Into Green. Going green is a journey. It's a personal journey and a collective one. And you might want to invite your family and friends to listen in as well. Our experts provide a wealth of information as well as tips and tools for going green. I hope you'll take some time to make leaning into green a priority in your life, and I hope that we have inspired you today to go green in many new and rewarding ways. Keep listening as we all lean into green a little deeper on our collective quest toward sustainability. Bye for now.